So welcome back, everybody. We're very happy to be back after our 1 hour break, and we are very grateful to welcome in our space the Ontario Principals Council. They are a professional learning organization that comprises literally thousands of professionals in the province of Ontario. And without further ado, I want to turn it over to Jeff. And thank you, Jeff, for hosting this space for us today.
Well, thank you so much for having us. I just want to start off by saying good morning and good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are joining us from around the world. My name is Jeff Maharaj, and I have the honor of serving as the president of the Ontario Principals Council. It's a pleasure to welcome you to our segment of the 24 Hours for Change in Education Marathon webinar. We are thrilled to stand alongside educators and leaders from across the globe who share a deep commitment to transform education for the better. As president of the OPC, I represent nearly 5,000 principals and vice principals in Ontario publicly funded schools. The Ontario Principals Council, or OPC as we're known, is dedicated to strengthening school leadership through advocacy, professional learning, and practical resources that help create safe, inclusive, and engaging learning environments for our students. Our work is rooted in the belief that leadership is collective, that we grow stronger through collaboration, reflection, and sharing of ideas. Participating in this global initiative underscores that belief and highlights our shared responsibility to shape learning systems that truly meet the needs of our students. Around the world, educators and school leaders are navigating rapid change, emerging technologies, evolving student needs, shifting social realities, and a heightened urgency around equity and belonging. These challenges are significant, but they are also create a space for innovation and for renewed purposes. Events like this one allow us to learn from one another, to think boldly, and to imagine what is possible when we place students at the center of our decisions. Ontario leaders are deeply engaged in this work. Across the province, we are developing pathways and programs that honor student identity, deepen engagement, and connect learning to meaningful life and career opportunities. Today's segment features three remarkable Ontario leaders whose work reflects creativity, commitment, and a strong belief in the potential of every learner. Their insights highlight the transformative power of responsive, relationship centered leadership. Monique Mueller is a system lead for student achievement and curriculum with the Durham District School Board. And she will introduce us to 30 My Way, experiential learning, SHISM, and OEAP. Her work showcases the impact of hands-on, individualized pathways that help students discover their strengths and connect their learning to real-world activities. Dawn White is here with also Badabin, one of the members of her department, and she is a system lead for Indigenous education and outdoor education with the Durham District School Board. And she's going to share about programs that support Indigenous students and their inherent right to learn on the land. Her leadership centers Indigenous ways of knowing, being, and doing, and emphasizes the importance of culturally grounded, land-based learning experiences. We'll also have Steve Kenlyside, principal with the Peel District School Board, and he'll introduce us to programs offered through the Peel Center for Black Excellence, which champions student entrepreneurship, authenticity, and identity affirming co-op and work experiences. His work highlights the power of culturally responsive programming in supporting student voice, confidence, and success. Today's session will conclude with remarks from Lawrence DeMayer of the Ontario Principals Council professional learning team, who will help us reflect on the themes shared and connect them to our ongoing leadership development work across Ontario. So I want to thank you again for joining us and for contributing to this global movement dedicated to reimagining education. It's now my privilege to begin by turning things over to our first presenter, Monique Mueller.
Thank you for the kind introduction, Jeff. If we can just cue up the slides.
They are coming. I have lost your slides, Monique. I gotta apologize. They are open on my desktop, but I cannot see them. Give me 1 second here. Sorry about this, folks.
No problem.
We are live.
Those slides have a curse, apparently.
They do, don't they? All right, I've got to apologize. I cannot pull it up to share. I can see them on my desktop, but I cannot share them.
Do you want to send them
Interesting.
to me on email? And see if the third time is the charm.
Well, why don't we let Dawn go ahead?
Don, are you able to start?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Sorry about that, folks.
That's okay. I'm going to share my slides. If you can let me know if you can see that. We're good to go. Awesome. Great. Thank you. So I'd like to start by doing a territorial acknowledgement. The land serves as our teacher, offering lessons that extend beyond the classroom through direct experiences, observations, and relationships. As Keith Basso illustrates in Wisdom Sits in Places, the land holds stories, histories, and teachings that shape identity and guide understanding, reminding us that knowledge is deeply rooted in place. In her article, Beyond Territorial Acknowledgement, Chelsea Vallow reminds us that our acknowledgements need to be rooted in action with a clear goal and purpose, why we show up, rather than just words on a paper read as a script. By engaging with the land as a living source of knowledge, we develop a more profound sense of respect, connection, and responsibility towards both the land and the First Nations communities who protect it. It is our duty to care for and protect the land for future generations to come, to ensure that Indigenous ancestors and caretakers of the territory are neither forgotten nor erased. I am privileged to have been born and raised on the traditional and treaty territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog First Nation. Good morning and thank you, everyone. My name is Dawn White and I am the system lead or centrally assigned principal for the Indigenous Education Department with the DDSB, Durham District School Board. I'm also a doctoral student with Ontario Tech University, where I look at anti-oppression work within the education system. With me here today is Badabin Peltier, knowledge holder from Okimokong and Ceded Territory. Just want to talk about a little bit about what grounds our work. The United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples adopted in 2007 an international human rights instrument that affirms the collective and individual rights of Indigenous peoples. It recognizes the right to self-determination, land, culture, identity, language, and political participation. Although not legally binding, UNDRIP sets global standards for dignity, survival, and well-being of Indigenous peoples and guides states in developing laws and policies that respect Indigenous rights. Indigenous rights under UNDRIP strongly affirms that relationships between Indigenous peoples and their territorial lands, territories, and resources, as highlighted in key articles 25, 26, 27, 28, and 32. UNDRIP also emphasizes cultural preservation is essential to Indigenous identity. Key articles in UNDRIP 8, 11, 12, 13, and 31 affirms Indigenous rights to cultural practices rooted in language and land. The overall significance of UNDRIP reinforces that Indigenous rights to land and culture are inseparable and collectively exercised by recognizing self-determination, land stewardship, and cultural continuity. The Declaration creates a framework for reconciliation, decolonization, and the protection of Indigenous ways of knowing. Through this framework, we are able to transform and decolonize education for Indigenous students and learning for all. So programs supporting First Nation, Métis, and Inuit students within the Durham District School Board. The development and implementation of programs that allow Indigenous students to access curriculum through learning, through Indigenous ways of knowing and Indigenous knowledge systems. In partnership with education systems, and supporting and upholding Indigenous rights as outlined in UNDRIP. These programs are not only just in partnership, but collaboration with Indigenous knowledge holders, community partners, including our treaty partners and members of our Indigenous Education Advisory Circle. Some of these programs have included Akinamagi, Akinamotion, where students are brought to the land through outdoor education sites that we have and working closely with Indigenous knowledge holders such as Badabin Peltier, who's here with us today. He will explain this a little bit further, but it's about building relationships with self, others, and the land. We've furthered these programs of ensuring that students are brought to the land by including student circles that are happening within the schools and connecting cultural continuity with the land and with language and other knowledge holders that support the programming for our students. Through programs such as supporting the 30 My Way, which I know Monique will speak about shortly, we're finding creative and innovative ways of dual credit programs that allow Indigenous students to learn from the land, accessing secondary credits, but also working with colleges and universities to be able to access credits through them as well. We have integrated learning from the land and with the land through our outdoor education system and our land-based learning department, where land-based learning is set for all. I'd like to hand it over to Badabin because although we have so many different programs about connecting Indigenous students to the land, but also connecting non-Indigenous students to the land in partnership and collaboration and allyship, working to protect the land and create future land stewards. And I could talk about that forever, but I think it's important to hear about Akina Mage and Akina Motion because this is a program that we've been running for a number of years now, and it really does speak to how we are bringing to life the Ministry of Education's curriculum, but through Indigenous knowledge systems in partnership with our Western knowledge system. So I'd like to hand it over to Badabin at this time to speak.
On miigwech. I'll just do a little introduction in my own language. So anin bojoga kinagoya bidav Indigenous cause wawashkesh dodem nishnabe odawa minwa parawar minendao. We kwemkang minado minising Namanpi Nogojanang Michasagik Aking Megwan de Da. So yeah, my name's Bidavin. I'm originally from Manitoulin Island. I now co-run a business with my wife called Indigenize, and we do so much work from community-based work. We work with institutions and organizations, corporations, but have a really fun spot in our heart for the Durham region and for the students within that school. So we continue to prioritize that work, and we're connected with the Mississaugas of this territory, and also have a fun spot for them, and the longer history of colonization within the Ontario region. There's a lot of context to that, and I am known to go into great context, or some of my friends call them wisdom tangents of tying all of these contexts together. But today I kind of want to keep it short and keep it concise for you. One of the things I think about, there's two things, I guess, is that it's such an exciting time we're in, because the education that is currently being received by Indigenous people or by Canadians is a lot different, within the past few decades, let alone within my own lifetime, within my family's lifetime, and of course my grandparents' lifetime. I did attend a day school, right? And so there's a major shift for what I experienced with not a residential school system, but with Indian day schools, what you might sort of describe as the era of neo-colonization, where it continued. And I'm grateful, and I want to start with that gratefulness of the time we're in, where a lot of work, a lot of shift has happened. You have champions of people who have advocated from all sides, as community members and family members, as people who work within the school system, like yourselves, within relative positions of authority and relative positions of influence, both professionally and personally, right? And so I'm grateful for that. I also know, though, that we still have so much work to do, right? And so in our conversations, me and Don and others within the school board there, or other school boards that we work with, I also foresee that, some of the multitude of work we still have to do, that we don't want to look back on this time and say that I wish we would have done more, or I wish we would have known the time we were in, or the ongoing systemic issues that we're working within, or that we need to dismantle or decolonize, right? And so that work is continued and is so important. And I really like a quote about one of the people who work with the TRC, Dr. Marie Wilson, and says, like, reconciliation is not a symbolic gesture, that it's certainly not a kinder, gentler form of assimilation, that we really need to be working on the structural shift. We need to be working on the systems, that still uphold the policies and laws that are colonial, right? And so in our conversations, I said, yes, we need to continue to challenge and decolonize and indigenize, but we also need to carve out space and make space, sometimes without the permission fully, uh, for indigenous paradigm, indigenous ways of being and ways of knowing, right? And so we saw a great opportunity to first focus on the local indigenous students, and then we could multiply from there after we've kind of honored our local responsibility to the nation of this particular territory, as a sort of a foundation or a framework of indigenous education, and even when we were talking about this, I'm like, I'm not the only one who's saying this, and I'm not local to this region either. So if there's an opportunity for local indigenous perspective, then to deliver this, then we should prioritize that as well. And if not, then we're building capacity for that safe place, safe space, as well as then, future Mississauga local Anishinaabe then to take over some of this work or some of these programs and activities that we're doing as well. And so at Akinamoshin, one thing that I've a guiding principle of it, it's in the word itself, Akinamage and Akinamoshin, without getting into grand detail, but it's what these words are generally saying is that all of the knowledge exists within creation. And sometimes in English we use these translations as, culturally informed education or land-based education, indigenous education, or we might like get real amazing to say a grander description, an indigenous land-based indigenous led education or indigenous centered, and so when we get back to it, yes, we as the people, we continue to hold this knowledge, but the knowledge really exists in relation to the land, and that's what these words are saying, and so we wanted to prioritize creating a safe space, for this knowledge to exist, fully and carried by the people and by the facilitators of this knowledge, and so we bring in, well, myself, and we bring in my family, we bring in other knowledge holders that have worked with the school board in the past. And what we've seen in a short amount of time, well, I guess it's not just this program, but we also work with the Mississaugas of Scugog Island since 2019. And now it's been generationally that we've been working with some of the youth from that community, working with some of the adults from that community as well in different programs. But now you're seeing the young people, though, being so empowered, not just with identity and culture, or, where our knowledge bridges into Ontario curriculum or into their day to day of their school curriculum. But then you're seeing this level of confidence where they see themselves reflected, or they see opportunities for themselves to make those connections, and that they have it in a relative truth to themselves where they can advocate for it in the day to day. The teachers are aware of it as well, that they're participating in this program, right? And so we're engaging, I guess, what you might describe as Indigenous education sovereignty, Indigenous principles within that exercise of our education that relate to governance, to our authenticity, or to our legal systems and our leaders. We're creating future leaders within this particular program, right? And it stretches from the school board into the community, into the homes, into the family, right? And again, that's part of the Indigenous pedagogy, that it shouldn't be just in the school, or it shouldn't be just in the the community or in the homes, that it could permeate between all of these areas where the student is navigating within their day-to-day lives. And so and it's really good, like, to have not just Dawn on our side, but within her networks and her advocacy, she works within the school, but also has connections, networks within the community as well. So it's really great to have that, very thorough partnership. And yeah, I think that's kind of puts it all, like, in terms of our vision of the program, how we really want to honor Anishinaabe Odswin, and that knowledge that exists on the land in creation uh, has been carried by our ancestors, and, really try to utilize that all in the revitalization effort, then that, we're creating future ancestors as well. And the little last point I think about all the time in my work within education is that, reconciliation is very complicated. There is no handbook for it. We're navigating it as we go together. We need connection, we need support, we need to have these types of open conversations. And how it looks within, non-Indigenous institutions versus within our own communities or within our own institutions is, it looks a little bit different, right? Where our communities are picking up the pieces and revitalizing and really trying to further the definition of what Indigenous led could look like, and what I get to see, or what I grew up seeing, was, people, our community members, advocating and then implementing the action of that revitalization, and getting to see what it could look like, and different successes and maybe different failures that we're jumping from and utilizing. And it is, like, very tough sometimes, especially for our youth, when they're trying to figure out how they're tippy-toeing between two worlds, within our own revitalization institutions, within our communities, or within our grander nation that exists right alongside, mainstream society or mainstream education, and trying to figure out, like, what is appropriate, what is safe for me to bring as an Anishinaabe person, as an Indigenous person, right? And I think that's what we're also working within, is making it more and more safe, making it full for everyone, that no one is left behind, and that could be a generation of educators and teachers who didn't have the same type of education that we're currently getting within higher education or within our society as well. Anyways, could go on, but I'm very grateful that I get to share what we've been up to, and it's really making a grand impact on the youth of this territory and throughout, Mississauga territory as well. And hopefully I did us justice there, Don.
You're good. Great. Thank you, Vidavin. Thank you so much. I think the importance of what, just to wrap up, the importance of what I can't stress enough is the collaboration and partnership and the consultation piece. It's really critical that everything that we are doing is being consulted, it's being collaborated, and we're not doing it as a silo, as an education system. We are listening to the voice and accessing input from the community and from knowledge holders such as Badab, and ensuring that what we're doing is in alignment with Indigenous knowledge systems, but also then being able to translate that or transform that into what do we need to do in the education system in order to make sure that the two can come together. And it just reminds me so much of Elder Albert Marshall's two-eyed seeing, as how do we bring both knowledge systems together to inform each other, to ensure that Indigenous students are being able to access education that honors their rights under UNDRIP. So I just would like to thank you all for listening, and again, to Miigwech, to Badab, for being here to support the learning, and again, to everybody for allowing us the time to speak. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Don. We're going to try and squeeze Monique in now. I know Monique has a shorter time than she'd planned on, but Monique, you ready to go?
I'm good to go as long as we can share the slides. How are we on that?
Okay, let me try sharing the slides or the video first.
Fingers crossed.
First, the slides.
The slides, please. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll let you know when to queue up the video.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. So thank you so much. My name is Monique Mueller. I'm the system lead for student success at the Durham District School Board. Student success is the department that handles grades 7 to 12 programming and pathway options for students. I work closely with Don White on a variety of different innovative projects and that we are looking to help with different pathway options and programming for our Indigenous students. If we can move to slide 2, please. Thank you. So the guiding principles of student success is that all students can be successful and that success comes in many forms and there's many pathways to success. Often when we look at success to students, it looks like a straight line where students start at one point and automatically reach their goals. But as we know, there's a lot of dips and turns and setbacks as students start to pursue their goals. And it's in these changes and shifts and sometimes failures that students actually will find out the best learning opportunities. And our role as principals in schools is to help them successfully navigate their paths through high school towards graduation and get ready for their next endeavors in the workplace, apprenticeship, college, or university. Some of our students have a really easy time and others need some more support. And today I'll share 2 initiatives at our school board that support secondary students in their pathway planning goals, as well as one of our specialized experiential learning programs called Specialist High Skills Majors that provides a very valuable experience and potential career sector experiences for all of our students. Next slide, please. DDSB offers a wide range of programming options, and often it's very difficult to share all of the different options to students and families in a way that can be easily understood. We have lots of different experiential learning options such as paid co-op, specialist high skills majors, the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program, and dual credit opportunities. And so one of the things that we embarked on last year is to find a way to present all of these options to students and families in a way that they can see all their choices, but they can also look at it in a way of pathway planning to their selected goals. Next slide, please. So we came up with the initiative called 30 Credits My Way. And this initiative puts DDSB students in the driver's seat so they can design a high school experience that aligns with their goals and passions. This particular approach is a little bit different than what we had before because it's not a linear approach. Students are able to customize their program options based on their needs, whether it's part-time, full-time, night school, or different e-learning options. Students can create a program that meets their needs both inside and outside of school. Next slide, please. So we want to create a learning environment that unleashes the full potential of students. And it is important to be able to provide them every opportunity to select from diverse course programming options. So by offering students all of these options, we have developed 30 Credits My Way. It's a one-stop shop where students can go digitally in with a QR code to see every single option that we have available, including our e-learning and our customized experiential learning options, and then create their own pathway. Through customization and flexibility in course selection and pathways, it's more inclusive, it's more dynamic learning experiences for students, and we can ensure that we're embarking on a pathway that truly resonates with individual strengths and ambitions. Next slide, please. So our school board has created this interactive map that students can use and parents to see all of the different programming options we have, including where the various milestones are for students at different points in their education pathway. All 3 education pathways, our secondary school diploma, our certificate of achievement, and our Ontario Secondary School Certificate, are acknowledged in this particular program option, as well as our continuing education programming. The interactive roadmap has been created to encompass all of these opportunities, including accessing support, alternative and outside school programs, which traditionally breaks away from the linear programming that we are used to in Ontario and allows a customized program for students. We're currently in the process of actually working with My Blueprint, which is our course selection option tool software. And we're going to be developing and integrating an AI tool where students can then prompt with various questions, their goals, their career pathways, their university programs, and the different needs that they have for their schedules, whether it's part-time, full-time, e-learning, and co-op. And with this program, it'll give them all the different program pathway options and the course selection options right within their course selection tools. Next slide, please. We've developed some tools that both administrators and students can use to help with their programming, taking a holistic approach at what students need. What are their interests? What are their goals? What are some of the mitigating factors that may have to be considered for their programming options? Do they have outside responsibilities? Are they involved in elite high athlete sports or other types of endeavors which may take them out of class and need more flexible options? Next slide, please. Students also get tools that they can use to help plan their programming options, and it also leads directly to an IPP, which is the individualized programming tools within My Blueprint. And this will also be integrated with the AI tools in My Blueprint in the upcoming year. Next slide. With comprehensive grade 9 to 12 courses and pathway options, students are now able to take on the control of their journey with a backward design. So going from where their goal is and planning their tools backwards and their pathways. By understanding and embracing these options, students and families embark on their high school journey that's not only enriching, but empowering and setting the stage for a lifelong success. This new initiative has ensured that there's consistency, coherence, across all of our schools in the Durham District School Board to what students can access. Next slide, please. The second initiative that we're really proud of is our Experiential Learning Specialist High Skills Major. And Specialist High Skills Major program is a special diploma where students will receive a seal and a record that can detail their accomplishments. It works based on a group of sectors of different pathway options so they can explore different careers. The ones that we offer in our board include programs like health and wellness, manufacturing, arts and culture, aviation and aerospace, business, construction, energy, hospitality and tourism, and many more. At this point, I'd like to share with you a video that we have created that includes some student voice about the SHSM program.
High Skills Major program basically gives students a chance to major in something in high school. But instead of majoring in a subject like math or history, students major in a career field.
It teaches you not only the skills, but sort of some opportunities, possible job paths.
It doesn't matter what students plan to do after high school. Apprenticeship, college, university, workplace, the SHSM program is open to anyone in grade 11 or 12. There are unique programs in each and every Durham District secondary school that put students on a journey towards success by giving them the chance to test drive a career.
Using what I've learned from this program in my professional career path, it's helped me so much.
Students get to take relevant courses and go on field trips to get a behind-the-scenes look at their career options. They participate in awesome workshops and get industry-standard certifications. There's a ton of value. And it's free.
So I got my customer service certification,
CPR. I have my working from heights training, infection control,
the ladder safety,
fire safety,
first aid training.
I feel like it's helping me stand out from everyone else.
It was sort of built for students who wanted to learn by doing.
I think the program will help you make connections because we've worked with some of those industry professionals.
It's an incredible experience.
In fact, every student gets the opportunity to take co-op. And lots of people say that's the best part because it's real experience. Maybe they like the field, maybe they decide it's not for them. Either way, they come out ahead with more skills and a better idea of their direction.
Before high school, I knew nothing about electrical.
The opportunity for OEAP and apprenticeships.
It really made me feel good, and it was something that really challenged me and helped me grow.
And overall, it was just like a great experience. I loved it.
Educators, employers, and parents love the program because it's inclusive education at its best.
It's really about the training skills, the speakers that we bring in.
Everything from academic skills to hands-on tasks, we support all our students and we're proud to do it.
It gives students skills, scholarship opportunities, and real-world experience.
The biggest draw was actually just the idea that you get a little stamp on your diploma, because I know a lot of companies are going to be looking for that.
There's a lot of scholarship opportunities. I've definitely got out of my comfort zone and gained more confidence as well.
But frankly, students love it because it's fun.
I didn't even know that my life can be this complete with skills like these.
It feels relevant.
This is why I think high school kids and kids all around Durham should be going into this.
It's exactly what school should be like.
Right now, I'm loving it.
Thank you. If we can switch back to the presentation. So we created a series of 19 different videos for students and parents so they can see the different sectors that are offered across our district. We also use these videos for elementary schools so that elementary students can start to see some of the programming that's available and start to look at different possible career pathways. Next slide, please. So we have a total of 19 sectors. This is an example of a brochure for the construction specialist high skills major. So what will happen is for the components, there's a bundle of courses that the students have to take. They also have to do a 2-credit co-op, plus they have to take some different certifications that are relevant to the particular sector. So in construction, often we do learning at heights. We'll also do first aid CPR. And then they also have to do some training opportunities, or what we call reach ahead, and experiences to complete their bundle. Once they've completed their bundle between grade 11 and 12, then they will get their Red Seal certification that is on their diploma. A lot of different universities will provide some different bursaries and scholarships based on these, and also have some advantages to entrances to the different programs. Next slide, please. And this is just the second half, which shows all the required components that students have to take. So once they're in the particular program, they work with their guidance counselors and their co-op teachers to ensure that all of their course selections embodies and encompasses these different reach aheads and certifications and courses so they can obtain their SHSM program. Next slide, please. This is an example of a sector partner experience. Maxwell Heights is a secondary school in North Oshawa, and they collaborated with the Oshawa Zoo to design and build structures for zoo animals in order to enrich the experience of the animals within the zoo. And these projects support students with hands-on experience in their sector while fostering community connections. So our students will often do very large projects with different organizations across the Durham region. We're currently looking at some possibilities for food insecurity and working with our construction SHSM, along with some of our culinary SHSMs and our health and wellness, to be able to build and sustain and grow and provide food to our communities. Next slide, please. This is just one of the many experiential learning programs that we have at the Durham District School Board for students to experience and try out different pathways. And if you have any questions, I've put on my email there, and you can reach out, and I'd be happy to answer any questions around our program and how these sector experiences are offered. So thank you very much. I'm very honored to be able to share these two initiatives from our districts with everyone.
Thanks so much, Monique. That was very informative. And we'll bring forward our last presenter, Steve Kenlyside from the Peel District School Board here in Ontario.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you everyone for joining us this morning. I'm going to start by sharing the deck, and I'm going to hand it off to some of our partners that are going to begin the presentation, and our lead is Raquel Walker. Okay.
Good morning, everybody. Is it morning? Are we all in the morning space? Do we see the deck as yet? Okay, well, while Steve's firing that up, I'll just do some introductions. So my name is Raquel Walker, and I'm the coordinating principal for African, Black, and Afro-Caribbean Student Success here at the Peel District School Board. And I'm part of the Equity Department, and today I'm joined by Principal Omari Roden from Rick Hansen Secondary School, Stephen Kinnyside, who you just met, Principal of Copper Park, and Kay Boma, who is our representative from Swirl. And today we're going to speak to you about an authentic experiential learning opportunity that we've engaged in with Swirl. And if we go to the next slide, please, there, Stephen. So really happy to be here on International Children's Day and to be part of this amazing global event. And I'll start by sharing that the work that we do at the Center of Black Excellence is in line with our Black Student Success Strategy. And it's one of the ways that we mobilize our multi-year strategic plan. Here at the Center of Black Excellence, we lead with the belief that Black student success is not accidental. It's the product of intentional design, community collaboration, and educational environments that honor identity, culture, brilliance, and care. And one of the distinguishing features of our work is that it is student-centered. So with the students at the center, that means we are considerate of student experiences, abilities, and interests, and we center that in every decision, from programming design to instructional coaching for educators to partnership development. And this is grounded in the philosophy of the Maasai greeting, Kaserian and Gera, which means, how are the children? In Maasai culture, the well-being of the children is the measure of the community's health. And we hold a similar stance. The true measure of a school system is how it creates pathways to success for all students, and through equity work, we purposefully cultivate success for historically marginalized and currently underserved students. And this mindset shapes every strategy, program, and partnership which addresses systemic gaps and benefits all students. Next slide, please. So the work that we do at the Center of Black Excellence is deeply aligned with the board's multi-year priorities. And the recent report released by the Ontario Human Rights Commission, it raises a critical challenge for us when doing this work. Many systems value the process of delivering education more than focusing on outcome. And at the Center of Black Excellence, we focus on outcomes for Black students so that we know that we're closing those gaps in achievement. And our multi-year strategic plan is a guide for us, a guide for student achievement and well-being. We design learning experiences that affirm identity, cultivate belonging, build student confidence while accelerating academic success. And through equity and inclusive practices, we work to dismantle barriers rooted in systemic racism and oppression. And we help schools understand, name, and disrupt inequitable structures and practices. And through meaningful community partnerships, we ensure that learning extends beyond the walls of the schools. And so we engage with industry professionals, business leaders, creators, parents, and community organizations to co-educate and build ecosystem support for Black youth. And we believe that pulling community into the work is important, not just as a checkbox or as an add-on, but that it's one of the ways to truly transform education systems to achieve equity, especially for students who are underserved. Next slide, please. So our work recognizes that learning is most impactful when students see themselves in the content, when they work on authentic challenges, and when they connect with people who look like them or have similar lived experiences. This way they can envision a future that includes them. And through intersectional approaches, we cultivate experiences where all students have an entry point and to identifying their similarities while valuing their differences. And one of the examples that we have here for you today is our partnership with Swirl. And so Swirl is not just an enrichment, it's truly a structural intervention designed to expand access, opportunity, and belonging. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Kay.
Thank you so much for that lead up, Raquel. First off, it's such an honor to be, amongst incredible educators who are doing the real work in community. And that's a perfect segue to Swirl. So who we are, we were founded in January 2023 to combat the almost $1 trillion global education funding gap. We read an article at the time by the Century Foundation that stated that schools in America alone were underfunded by 150 billion, and we're approaching $1 trillion globally. And so as a career marketer and partnerships, person in the, corporate sphere, born in Ghana, raised in Toronto, I understood that community programs were the reason that I was able to thrive, in my career. And so we really wanted to build a platform that could connect with educators and bring the private sector in a safe way into community to redirect some of the incredible dollars that are being spent on engaging campaigns like you see on the screen here, but turn them into work integrated learning experiences for students and pathways to unrestricted funding for school districts. And so what you see in the middle of the screen with Ariana Formica, who came through the Miami-Dade Public Schools partnership that we have, was connecting Hispanic creators to the WWE, Cricket Wireless, and Sprint and AT&T, who were spending millions of dollars on campaigns trying to engage Hispanic students, but connecting that directly to the work integrated learning program, getting the funding that was going to be allocated to an agency, in part reallocated to the district, and the students who could learn how to build a marketing campaign, integrate that work into the classroom with the oversight of teachers and consent of parents, and get them real world experience and get her on the pathway to where she is now in college studying to be, a professional in the creative industry. And then on the right side of the screen with Mel Science, a brand out of Oakland, California, that really wanted to, amplify, the adoption of STEM, in communities, but doing it with STEM programs in schools. And then, as Raquel aforementioned, with Jerome Williams, Raptor legend, coming back to Toronto for a Shooting for Peace campaign, where we turned students from Peel, Toronto, and New York region into the actual content creators on that incredible, weekend on November 1st. So our mission is simply to make sure that we're being really good partners to school districts, help them solve the funding gap, but do it in a way that meets the multi-year strategic visions that they have, and even more importantly, get students on the pathways to post-secondary and/or the workforce in a way that supports the school zone's academia and curriculum goals. So our focus as Swirl is ensuring that we're bringing these opportunities to the districts, to the schools, to the students in a way that augments what the school districts, what the schools are trying to produce in student outcomes. Pass it over to Steve.
Actually, we're going to hand this one back to Omari Roden, principal over at Rick Hansen Secondary School, for our first example of another partnership that Swirl co-led with students at Rick Hansen.
Thanks, Mr. Keeley-Side. My name is Omari Roden. I'm the proud principal here at Rick Hansen Secondary School. I do want to take a moment quickly just to do a couple of things. When I see Lawrence the Mayor on a screen, I think about being a baby teacher. And so, Lawrence, it is good to see you. And thank you very much for everything you've done for me as an educator. Secondly, I do have to thank Raquel for this opportunity that was extended to our school. We are a thriving school in a community who prides itself with many opportunities, but especially those around the skilled trades and the opportunities that our students have here at the school. I can say lots of things, but I do want to take a moment to get out of the way because also our position is that where our work is centered around students, we want to make sure that their voice is heard. So I want to introduce to you the amazing Lamise, one of our amazing student leaders here in the school. And Lamise will share a few words about her experience working with Pele Pele with the support of Swirl.
So last year we were given an incredible opportunity to work with as sponsors for the Pele Pele Spices. And when it first became we were all it was nerve-wracking for us. But as time went on, it was really nice and it was a great project to be a part of. We got to go to the spice factory, we learned how they're made and where they come from. We also got to make our own blend of spices and use it in a cooking challenge. And we got to make appetizer, a main dish, a dessert, and even a refresher. And it was really hard and it had us thinking out of the box because we only had a limit of ingredients. And then we also learn like health benefits of like spices and like the minerals and vitamins in them.
Thank you very much for that, Lamise. Also, I want to take a moment to highlight Kotiende, who is the producer of Pele Pele, who worked with us extensively. He shared after an opportunity to bring students together because the boot camp was also, they produced a YouTube docuseries, and there was a trailer presented at the school at one of our nights for the community. And so I know that we're looking forward to seeing the whole series. But Kotiende and Mervel, we definitely appreciate their time and effort here in our building. But Kotiende says, I wanted to take a moment to thank you again for the incredible support and energy that you brought to the Pele Pele Spice Boot Camp screening last week. The event truly reflected a creative spirit and leadership that Rick Hansen Secondary School continues to foster in its students. You know, there are lots of things, like I said before, that I can say about the program, but without amazing students like Lamise, amazing educators like Kathy Kennedy Aylesworth, who is the head of our technology and skilled trades program here at the school, opportunities like these would not come to fruition. So I want you to know that what made it authentic was being able to walk down the hallway and speak to Kathy. What made it authentic was being able to meet with Kotiende and Mervel throughout this process. What made it authentic was being able to watch the students thrive and be put into context where they would be familiar with some things, but also unfamiliar with some things, and being able to watch how they responded. So I want to say as principal that this was a fabulous experience. And I'm looking forward to other opportunities where the things that students are learning in our classrooms can be extended out into the community. I think that our students responded in a great way to working with community partners. And it just speaks to the level of capacity that we have here in the building. So again, I just want to say thanks to Pele Pele, Kay, Swirl, looking forward to the next opportunity. And Raquel, please keep sending these opportunities our way. And Mr. Keenly Sai, whenever you endorse something, sir, I'm going to say okay. So I just want to extend my appreciation for the experience we've had at Rick Hansen Secondary.
Thanks, Omari. And as we jump into what this looked like at Cawthra Park Secondary, I am so privileged to be the principal at Cawthra Park. For those who are unfamiliar with who we are as a school, we are one of the regional learning choices schools for students that are really interested in pursuing their passion within the arts. So we have students that audition to come here as dance majors, drama majors, music majors, and visual art majors. So there's a hum of creativity through our halls and beyond every day. And it was a beautiful partnership that came to us via Raquel as the network that really stretches out across Peel and brings in new partnerships with community organizations like Kay from Swirl. Kay was able to connect us and our multi-year strategic plan to really focus on environmental education and environmental stewardship, and with a great partner in Providence Farms. Providence Farms is a regenerative farm out in Kitchener-Waterloo area. So we were able to connect with Andrew, the co-founder at Providence, to deepen our understanding of what regenerative farming looks like, what environmental stewardship looks like, and what our responsibility to the land can actually be when we're not just learning about it, but we're actively engaged with it. So Andrew is a wonderful partner and really came to us with a hope of being able to stretch and give voice to students as leaders within the environmental movement, and sort of leverage what Andrew does within Providence Farms and his responsibility to the land and to animals that live on it as a way to be active environmental stewards within Ontario. So what that looked like at Cawthra Park was a campaign that leveraged our students' creativity, leveraged their voices, leveraged their unique ways of connecting into a message of we're all in this together. And isn't that just the perfect way to ground and center our own collective responsibilities to the land, animals, and those that live on it. So we would be without all of this great work without the amazing teachers and staff in this building that helped lead this work. Our department head of visual arts and technology was an excellent leader that helped to really center students' understanding of what the mission and vision of this campaign was all about, and really gave voice and focus to what a professional experience would be. When we talk about authentic learning experiences, this is it. This is a partner coming in with Providence Farms and saying, this is the vision. How do we convey it? And so this is the design brief that we need to develop together as a class. And we had numerous campaigns developed, and then we had a little bit of a vote, which was a wonderful way in which students could feel engaged in a bit of a unique challenge to how do I convey a message in a really authentic manner. So as Stacey said, our students are not just learning, they're leading the conversation on sustainability through creative expression and critical thinking. And this campaign gave them a meaningful platform to engage with a global issue that prepares them for future pathways in the arts, environmental science, and beyond. They were the creative directors for this campaign, and they made up actually 10 different campaigns that really allowed us to put our best foot forward as a regional arts program. And just to encapsulate how this then connects back to our district, our esteemed director, Rashmi Swarup, put it very succinctly when she said, "We are committed to empowering students to become critical thinkers, creative problem solvers, and responsible global citizens." This partnership really bring that vision to life, connecting our classroom learning to real-world environmental action. Our students aren't just learning about sustainability, they are leading it. And this was truly what they were all about. So this is, once again, showing how a great partner in Kay and in Swirl can leverage students' voice, students' authentic learning experiences, give them that leg up when they walk into a professional experience in a post-secondary or career landscape, and be prepared with actual experiences, not just, I think I might know how to do this, but I've done it and I can speak to it. And that's what school is all about. And that's what we really appreciated in a great partner with Kay. And again, thank you to Raquel Walker for bringing this to us. So I'm going to hand it back over to Kay to share some things about where our paths forward may go.
It's just so overwhelming. Like, this is so great. So again, thank you everyone for the time. But for us, when we think about the focused impact, it's really doubling down now. Now that we've had success, with Peel and other surrounding districts in Ontario and even globally into the US and beyond, it's really making sure that we align, our programs, our partnerships to the multi-year strategic visions, helping schools, helping districts actually cast towards their goals with these brand-funded initiatives that are aligned with those goals. So it's not a distraction. PDSB, we're doubling down. We've done massive, pilots that have turned into real actionable success. But now we have a hunger for more, right? Trying to understand what the real, funding gaps are, how we align those to the brand's budgets and keep them on task with the multi-year strategic vision, and double down with the Omaris of the world, with the Steves of the world, with the Raquels of the world, and align our goals with the brand's goals to make these true partnerships. And we're talking about some exciting things over the holidays that I'm sure we'll announce soon. But for us, it's around being a true partner and being here to stay and really being part of this community in Peel and all the districts that we're a part in. And then my passion, being born in Ghana but raised in Toronto, is bringing this program to, the nations of the world that need this as well. And so this also gives us a springboard to be able to copy and paste models that worked in districts like Peel, in nations like Ghana, right? Nigeria, South Africa, Europe, right? And so for us, that global reach was always the vision, but we want to ensure that we're being really intentional partners and really coming here and being here to stay in Peel and solving the more systemic problems in our way, right? Because we know that the biggest element of partnership that has given us the best growth trajectory has been truly listening to educators, right? And, the voice of student, and ensuring that we're tailoring our program and we're tailoring the partners that we bring into the school district with ones that you would want to work with, right? And not all districts are the same. So that's why we like to be present. We like to have a deep understanding and grow in ways that actually ensure that we're helping you hit your goals, with funded initiatives and programs that augment the learning outcomes and, the district's own goals. So excited to be here, humbled to be in the room with people who actually are solving problems in the world, and happy to play a small part, in collaborating with you all. So thank you again. And Steve, thank you for having me here.
Yep. And we're going to hand it back to, I think, Lawrence Tamer to bring our hour to a close.
Just a very quick minute here at the end to really thank our 3 incredible school teams for sharing such inspiring initiatives. I think each of you has really shown us what is possible when we put students at the center of change. Your work reminds us that education is not a static thing, but really a living, breathing system that evolves with the needs of learners and communities and the world around us. So the themes that were interwoven through your stories and your narratives, I think really demonstrate some key foci for educators' learning and work across the province of Ontario. Really powerful stories about student success, not just in terms of graduation rates or grades, but success in terms of confidence, resilience, and readiness for life beyond school that includes integrating into their communities. So thank you so much to all the school teams for sharing your incredible work. We're much appreciation.
Thank you on behalf of our 24 Hours for Change in Education team. It was a very inspiring, informative presentation. We're very much in awe by the depth, the breadth, and the consistency of your programs. And I'm looking forward to a lot of people watching this video. You were talking about living and breathing, and we're now we have our friends from Mexico here in the room, so it's very good to hand it over to them. Thanks everybody from the Ontario Principals Council, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.